It's been a few days since we've seen this one. Yeah, basically, this was Son of Fred.
That's how it started. We did something a little different, though. So to be fair, I've started the project that I've been dreading this entire time. Set up some sort of network storage. Now, there's a lot of ways to do this. There's a lot of ways you can go out and spend several $100s to get setups to, several hundred to several thousand. There are some things that are cheaper, like getting a WD, like a Western Digital MyBook, or something like just external hard drives or something to kind of. I've got a bunch of those. I got a lot of little things that made their way back into one system or another, but they're all spread apart. They're all spread all over the place, and that system. Honestly, has about 7 terabytes worth of storage space in it, but some of the stuff that's in there is exactly the same as some of the stuff that's in my editing rig, which is exactly the same as some of the stuff that's on other drives. And I need a way to just centralize that, where I've got what's on my computer, a backup for network storage, and then eventually move something off site as well. Now I've got everything from like notebook hard drives. These are both 1 terabyte, and I'll probably end up using them a little bit, to full size 3.25 or 3.5 inch drives, to some SSDs. I've got a little bit of a lot of different things, because as I build a system, or I'll take a system down, or I'll do something else, or I'll change something or upgrade something, I've got stuff left over. So what I've decided to do instead, for now, is to go ahead and take the HP Frankendel that I was using as just sort of a test case to see how it was. I've thought about, for a hot minute, putting that Q6600 that was in there back in, but I wasn't sure if it had quite the computing power that I wanted in case I wanted to do something extra, like involve it in any kind of file transfer, editing, or anything like that, or maybe even turn it into a game server of some type. What I decided to do was go ahead, for the time being, leave the Dell insides in that HP case. And if you guys haven't seen that video, it's a couple of videos back, I'll tag it here. Anyway, so we've got this mismatch, but I've got enough room in there where if I move a couple of things around, I can probably put some more drive space in there. And so we configured things a little bit, moved some things around a little bit, and got to this point.
So this doesn't have to be pretty right now. That is the boot drive. Behind that is a larger 3.5 inch hard drive. And all I'm trying to do now is just kind of prove the concept. I do have a sled for a couple of 2.5 inch drives that are going to go here, so all this wire mess will go away. And then I'm going to go ahead and swap this out. We're going to take the optical drive out, and I'll see if I can't. Well, yeah, I think I've got something in here, but I'll take the optical drive out. We'll put another adapter in there, another sled for hard drives in there, and so we'll be able to have at least. I can probably mount this somewhere else, so I'll probably be able to get 2 physical 3.5 inch drives, a third one up here, 2.5 inch drives, and we should have some beginnings of some actual storage. I'm not doing that right now. All I'm doing is just kind of proving a concept, and as we get further into this, we'll do things like put an operating system like TrueNAS or something like that on it. For the time being, all I'm trying to do is just prove that I can go ahead and set up a network storage device, so I don't have to keep fumbling around with all the other little solutions and backups I've got working.
So that's all fine and good, and it's temporary. And I am going to, like I said, I'm going to use some of these 1 terabyte drives and, 1 or 2 other drives, just proof of concept, try it out, use it. And as I graduate into other things, there'll be bigger hard drives, there'll be bigger SSDs, and eventually maybe I'll move on to something else that's installing TrueNAS or something like that, to actually make it into a viable network drive, or a network storage thing. So the next step after getting all the drives set up was to go ahead and try to create something on the desktop where I could drop files into this folder that would immediately be saved onto the network drive. That wasn't quite as easy. That was a little bit convoluted, but yeah, go along with me here for a second.
both drives are showing up. Yes, it is a used 500 gig. There's probably some other stuff on it I got to take off and figure out. It's not going to stay that way, obviously. But our next step is to go ahead and put this in a shared folder that I can go ahead and put on this computer. And that way I can transfer files back and forth, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so after messing around and some configuring and all that stuff, I was able to set up, basically I set up drive Z, and I had already set this up as the folder Frankenshare. And so once I typed that all in, it found the folder, it stuck it here, I made a copy, I put it on my desktop over here, and so now we're going to test it out. So we've got all of this. I'm going to make a simple file. Let's do a text file. So we got our text file done. We're going to go ahead and save that. Let's save as. Let's go ahead and save it into Frankenshare as a text file. Alrighty. Save it as a. There we go. Simple file. So we ought to be able to go here. There's our test file right there in the Frankenshare folder. Do that again. Right there. Test file there. So let's look over on the other computer. And boom, there it is. Showed right up. So, yep. Okay, now we know it'll do a small file. We'll do a little bit bigger file. Simple Paint 3D image. We're going to save as image. And before I do that, we're going to go ahead over here. Not there yet. We're going to save it. Let's just call it Paint, and we're going to save it into Frankenshare. Save. Boom. And right away. There we go. Works. Nice. So, next steps for this thing will be to add a couple other drives, go ahead and just test things out a little bit, see how comfortable I feel, maybe trying to put a couple in RAID or something. I don't know about all that yet, but we're going to get some bigger drives to put in there, and then maybe we'll go ahead and switch to an operating system like TrueNAS or something, just to kind of make sure I've got a good steady backup, kind of after I trust it a little bit.
In any case, what I ended up doing is I took a drive, I took on the D drive of the HP Frankendel, I just labeled a folder. I went ahead and made that folder shareable. When I made that folder shareable, it gave me a tag or an address that I could use. I went then to the next computer, started searching, picked a drive letter that wasn't already in use. In this case, I believe it was Z. I used the Z drive. Went ahead and mapped at where I started looking for that identification tag that I took off of the HP Frankendel, which was mapped to the Franken file or to the backup file. Went ahead and now the new computer, or in this case, the other computer I was working on, has a file or has a folder or an area that I can drop files onto that automatically transfer them to the HP Frankendel. I've tried this a couple times. I tried it going tried it going backwards, and I even went ahead and set it up here on my editing rig just to make sure that I could set it up again and it's repeatable. Now, I don't know how well I explained it, probably not very well, and I apologize for that, but the fact of the matter is, for now, what I have is I have a folder on my desktop, on the editing rig, and on my, well, what was going to be it's now my guinea pig. So, Son of Fred over there being my guinea pig, my editing rig, which was IM number 4, now both can drop files into or take files out of, and it actually works both ways. I can go ahead and drop files from that other rig into this one and vice versa, simply because I do now have something set up that works through the internet or works through Ethernet, and I can just drop that in a folder, and I can pick that. If I'm, instead of trying to transfer files to a thumb drive or something like that, I can just simply now drop those files in and pick them up somewhere else. So that's the first step. We will do some other stuff. Like I mentioned in the little clip, I've ordered some hard drive caddies to kind of expand I'm going to expand on that a little bit. I think I can probably get four drives in there. One, two, three. Yeah, I'll probably get 4 or 5 more drives in there. A couple SSDs and a couple of full size, 3.5 inch drives. I think I can get those in there. I might even be able to get a third SSD. Solid state drives are a lot easier to use because I don't have to worry about them moving around. Not that this is going to move around in the first place, but now at least I have something that's rather inconspicuous looking, and it's not going to look out of place anywhere. I can go ahead, and as long as it's got a good internet connection or a good network connection, I can use this to be able to store things on. As I worry more and more about file transfer, maybe uploading or downloading of files that I'm editing for YouTube, or even turning something into a game server, I'll want to make sure I've got a really good connection and maybe even a little bit faster computer. But for the time being, we got a proof of concept and we got something that might just work. We'll see how often I use it. The bad thing now would be is if I go ahead and set this up and spend all this time doing this and was so afraid to do it or get around to doing it and then don't use it. That would be pretty screwed up. I don't think that's going to be the case though. So in any case, no pun intended, I think we've got something that works. I think we've got something that I can live with and that I can use and work with, and I think it will end up being okay. I just have to find a good spot where it's going to be its permanent home until I decide to do something else with it. I thought at one time it was going to go back there. It's not going to go back there. I need to put it somewhere else. That would, not that it would be an eyesore sitting there. It's just that area is cluttered up enough. We'll figure out something. When we do, we're going to be able to build something from that. So this is sort of, if anything, this is a part one. This is a ground level. This is how we do. So when I go back and reference it next time, or I go back and I add bigger drives, or I go back and add something like TrueNAS or another operating system, then at least we had some point we started from. And this was it. So if you found the video at all entertaining, informational, anything at all, go ahead and throw a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please do. I thought I touched 750 for a minute, but Google and YouTube do their thing, and of course it dipped back down below. So help reaching 750 and beyond would be very much appreciated. If you're not subscribed already, don't forget to hit me up on all the socials. And if you don't do anything else, please just do me one favor, and that's be good to each other. Be kind. Hold the door open, smile, wave, something, anything. It doesn't cost anything to be kind. It doesn't cost anything to be nice or smile, and it could make somebody's day. So until the next time when I get myself into something I got no business getting into, I'll see you later.